contributing well here.
One. So they know. Just like that.
Isante on the steal. Ortiguesa. Oh, that's cancelado. Ortiguesa.
Leading Angeles spots and misses. That's so unfair.
By UC. Villaver will go. Yes. Isante. Sees pace. Yes.
Two teams are already in the Final Four. Who will be joining them today? We'll find out in just a few moments. The JRU Heavy Bombers go up against the Letran Knights as we come to you from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum right here in Manila. Noel Zarate alongside Rick Olivares. Our games today, ladies and gentlemen, Letran going up against JRU, and later on, the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles take on the Mapua Cardinals, who will be meeting UE and San Beda in the Final Four. We're going to find out in just a bit. Well, first of all, Rick, great to have you on board. Let's talk about those games yesterday.
Good afternoon, Noel. Good afternoon, basketball fans everywhere. Welcome to day 2 of the quarterfinals of the Collegiate Champions League. Today, first game, Letran versus JRU. Second game, Mapua versus Ateneo. Now, yesterday's game, UE continued its winning ways by bamboozling PCU by the score of 74-55. PCU had to buck the foul problems of Belga and Jason Castro, but nevertheless, Marcy Arellano, a breakout game yesterday for him in beating PCU 74-55. Second game. The second game showed by San Beda had the MVP of the NCAA in Sam Ekwe. Sam Ekwe, a monster game, 23 rebounds, 13 points, and 4 blocks to dispatch UV by the score of 84-68.
So we now know the two teams who are going to make it to the Final Four. We'll find out which one will go in first. Will it be JRU or will it be Letran? First of all, let's talk about the JRU Heavy Bombers here. Fresh off an upset victory, Rick, against the UST Growling Tigers.
Yes, but before we talk about that momentous win by JRU, when you talk about JRU, you got to talk about Ariel Vanguardia, the coach of JRU. Ariel replaced Chris Calilan as coach, and he did a masterful job. They finished 4-10 in the NCAA. They came into the CCL as a wild card team, and they moved on. They beat UST. They held them to 3 for 22 in 3-point field goals. Jap Skuan, 0 points, 3 assists, and get this, Noel, 6 turnovers. And they held them scoreless, 0 for 18 in the fourth quarter. UST's only points, 2 free throws by Dylan Ababu. The marginal points scored by J.M. Wilson to give JRU the win.
Well, let's talk about J.M. Wilson in just a bit. But right now, Mark Kakoko, this guy jacked up 15 three-pointers in that win against UST, and they still somehow won.
Definitely, you gotta like Mark Kakoko. Only a freshman, but he's displaying a lot of spunk. 4 for 15 for 27%, but he managed to outscore UST, but still, no? He scored 17 points, a team high for JRU.
And of course, you talked about J.M. Wilson, who did the marginal basket. Now, this guy came out of nowhere to be the rising Wilson. As we took a look at the numbers there of Mark Kakoko in that win against UST. But J.M. Wilson coming out of nowhere to be the surprise package for Ariel Vanguardia.
You gotta like the spunk of J.M. Wilson. In the first 3 quarters, he was almost a non-factor, but he came alive and he scored 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 steal. And as I said, the marginal points of that 65-63 win. In UST's gym, no less.
That's right. And now let's talk about, as we take a look at the rise in Wilson's numbers, 15 and 9 in that game. Now let's talk about some keys to victory here, Rick. What does JRU need to do against Letran to sustain their winning run here in the Champions League?
Well, definitely they got to get Floyd Dedicatoria going. He is JRU's main man, and he finished second in the NCAA MVP voting. This guy can score anywhere, and he's a monster off the boards. Another point for JRU to win is they have to take higher percentage shots. They like to take a lot of 3-pointers. Against a Letran team that is taller than them, they got to hold down those rebounds. They got to keep the scoring low and to play ugly basketball. When I say ugly basketball, Noel, it's what they did to UST by playing tough, hard-nosed defense.
All right, now let's talk about the JRU Heavy Bombers, this time from the side of Mika Abisamis.
Thank you, Rick and Noel, and welcome to another exciting day here at the Champions League. For the JRU Heavy Bombers who never won against Letran, Coach Ariel Vanguardia said, "Asahan mo na mas malakas kami ngayon. We are hungry to play Letran. We will break the press of the Knights. We will stop the defense. And with my 12 rookies, we will sustain the good game we had against UST." Back to you, Noel.
Thank you very much, Mika. 12 rookies. Wow, that's something that we need to look forward to here for the JRU Heavy Bombers. Now let's talk about the Letran Knights. They were champions of the NCAA last year. They weren't the champions this year. But of course, itong koponan naman ng Letran have lost some of their key players, their veterans here.
That's right. Letran is losing Aaron Aban and Boyd Bautista. That's almost like 27 points per game that they're losing, no? And both have moved on to the pros. Aban with Alaska and Bautista with Pure Foods, no? And now,
Look at those numbers.
Yeah,
That's what they're missing.
definitely, that's almost 27 points a game, as I said, no?
Well, of course, pag-usapan naman natin dito, Rick, how the Letran Knights intend to keep their winning ways against the JRU Heavy Bombers. Of course, they did sweep them in the NCAA, and we're talking about the psychological advantage of having swept this, not only in this NCAA, but they have a long winning streak against the Heavy Bombers.
That's right, Noel. No? Dating back to the 2001 season, the Letran Knights have had an 8-4 record against JRU. In fact, they have a 7-game winning streak. The last season, they not only bamboozled JRU, they scored a 74-70 victory in the first round and a 70-55 victory in the second round.
Well, one of the players that we need to look out for here naman sa koponan ng Letran, as we take a look at Coach Louis Alas on the sidelines, is of course Andro Quinday, who stepped out of the shadows of being Aaron Aban's backup to become the superstar in their win against the University of Cebu.
Definitely, Aaron Aban. You gotta like this guy. He is strong up front, and in the last game, no, he scored 16 big points against UST. Against UC, and they had 7 to 10 field goals, 5 rebounds to go with 3 huge blocks against University of Cebu.
Well, he could be the marked man in this game. Now let's listen to your keys to victory here, Rick, about the Letran Knights.
Well, keys to victory for Letran, no? They got to break 70 points. So far, they've always outscored JRU. Each time, they've scored more than 70 points. So that is the magic number for them. And at the same time, since JRU likes to jack up a lot of three-pointers, they got to control those long rebounds. And as we said earlier, Quinday, he might be the man for this team, not only for the CCL, but also for the NCAA campaign for the Letran Knights.
Well, let's hear about what Mika Abesames has to say about these Letran Knights.
Thank you, Noel. For the Letran Knights, Coach Louis Alas says they are on an upbeat tempo. They will have a full court pick-up, they will play man-to-man, and they will definitely disrupt the offense of JRU. Noel?
Thank you very much, Mika. All streaks come to an end. Can JRU finally end their losing streak against Letran, or will Letran move on to the Final Four? We will find out in just a bit. This is the Collegiate Champions League right here on Basketball TV. Memorial Coliseum, just minutes or just seconds away from tip-off here between the JRU Heavy Bombers, the wild card who made it all the way here to the Elite 8, going up against the Letran Knights, former NCAA champions. And ito pa rin po si Noel Zarate alongside Rick Olivares. So who will join San Beda and UE in the Final Four?
Definitely, Noel. It's going to be an exciting match. These two teams are similarly, are very evenly matched. But despite the record, we're going to be expecting a lot from JRU. They've had a great run so far, and will they continue their Cinderella story in this tournament?
That's right. Baliktaran nga actually naging record nila sa NCAA.
Yes.
4-10 for the JRU Heavy Bombers. And of course, 10-4 for the Letran Knights. Although the Letran Knights were booted out in the Final Four, let's see if they can advance to the Final Four of this one. We were talking about so many players to look out for para dito sa koponan ng Letran. As we take a look at the JRU Heavy Bombers coming in, no more Aaron Aban, no more Boyat Bautista. We did talk about Andro Quinday, but there are so many players to look out for here. We have Mark Balneg, we have Dino Daa. These are the big men. And of course, Rafael Hasul, who is the point guard here, and he could be the next Boyat Bautista for Letran.
That's right. He's an explosive scorer, no? In the vein of Aaron Aban and Boyat Bautista. Nevertheless, they also have Dino Daa, Brian Faundo, and JC Melegrito to help out in the scoring and rebounding chores, Noel.
Well, for the JRU Heavy Bombers, of course, we all know about Mark Kakoko liking to shoot from the outside. Floyd Dedicatoria, this guy is an enigma. He's 6'4", can jack up the three, can post up, and as you mentioned earlier, he can score from practically anywhere.
That's right. He sort of reminds me of Mark Borboran in some way, except that he's a little more consistent. Now, the starting lineups for Letran, you have Del Rosario, Jazul, Faundo, Daa, and Ranices. On the other hand, for the JRU Heavy Bombers, you have Mark Kakoko, Mark Pradas, Sena, Nocom, and Floyd Dedicatoria.
So we will see if this matchup will be to the liking of both coaches. Of course, Ariel Vanguardia against Louis Alas. Ariel Vanguardia, of course, coming in as a replacement for erstwhile coach Chris Calilan just before the season started. Pretty much like Joel Dualan was for the PCU Dolphins.
Yes, that's right. No? But a very interesting note about the Kalilans. No? In the JRU lineup, they have Jeff Calilan, the
That's
son
right.
of Chris Calilan. And Chris Calilan was the son of Kiko Calilan. Now, this is a third-generation player for the Heavy Bombers. The Lolo and the father have won a championship. Now, will Jeff Calilan help the JRU Heavy Bombers win a title?
That's right. In the NCAA, when we are talking about the NCAA, the last time the JRU Heavy Bombers actually won an NCAA championship, you have to go all the way back to 1974.
Yes, actually I think, well, 72 yata. Di
72 pa ba yun?
Oo, sila Philip Cesar
Philip
yun.
Cesar and the David brothers. Actually, if you take a look at Ariel Vanguardia,
That's right.
and this will be the matchup of who will get to the Final Four. Ito ngayon, we are about ready to tip this one off. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are around the country, right here on Basketball TV. First possession goes to the Heavy Bombers. And Gagoko right now already signaling a play. This guy shot 15 three-pointers, lost his footing that time. At lalabas ang bola. He's looking for a foul here against Del Rosario. That was called.
Right. Now we're going to see the first offensive thrust of Letran.
And we're going to have to strain our voices a little bit here, Mr. Olivares, because of course, the bands are playing, the cheering squads are active, and we have just begun this ball game. We're still here in the first quarter. Right now, Letran on the attack. Here's Dino Daa looking inside. Losing the ball are the Dice. Floyd Ligatoria with the recovery. Here comes Mark Gagoko. Gagoko rather.
Gagoko
losing the
having
ball.
trouble with the ball right now. It's Letran. Jasul passing out.
And a great save there. Floyd Ligatoria with possession. Now Gagoko will have to slow things down. We are still scoreless here. Almost a minute gone by in the first quarter. Mark Gagoko, nice drop pass, but nobody home there for the JRU Heavy Bombers.
Turnovers, Noel.
And here's Dino Daa challenging the defense. And Ranises with the first 2 points of the game.
Gagoko has to watch it. No? That's 3 consecutive turnovers.
Well, Regin Ranises makes the score 2-0. There is a slick spot right there at the top of the key. 3-pointer for JRU. That one's short. Pradas had no chance with that one. And that's a dangerous pass, and that was ill-advised there, coming from Letran's Kirk Del Rosario.
That's right. I noticed, Noel, no, that Letran is keying their defense on Gagoko. They're making it difficult for him for those penetrations, and they're challenging the shots on the kickouts. They know that JRU likes to bomb from the outside.
Well, they are living up to their names, being the Heavy Bombers of the NCAA, now being the Heavy Bombers of the Champions League. Gagoko, his first 3-point attempt. This one's gone. And battle for the rebound. Last touch here against the blue shirts of the Heavy Bombers. The Letran Knights wearing the maroon shirts.
That's right.
It's still 2-0, Rick.
That's right. And, JRU has to score, no? They're really having a difficult time setting up their offense. They have to slow things down. They got to be a little more patient. They got to whip the ball around and look for the open man. Medyo basang-basa na yung play, eh.
And our technical head right now, Joey Guanyo, is on the floor. He wants to make sure that those slick spots are taken care of. We have a quick substitution here, however, for the JRU Heavy Bombers. Our first look at Marvin Hayes coming in for Pradas. Now, Pradas shot that air ball, Mark Pradas, earlier. Marvin Hayes will take over for Pradas.
You gotta like Marvin Hayes. As I said earlier in the pregame, this guy brings a lot to JRU.
And now we have an entry pass here. Letran, here's Azul. Azul on the drive. This is nice. Give it
Beautiful play.
but the miss there coming from Brian Paundo. Gagoko going inside. Oh, in the Ligatoria. He likes that spot. Miss there. Battle for the rebound. And so far, so good here for the JRU Heavy Bombers, although the loose ball foul will be charged against Marvin Hayes. So far, so good for them because it is ugly ball here in the first quarter.
Yes,
and that's what's going to win it for them.
Definitely. Even if JRU is still unable to score, they, believe it or not, it's just 2-0. They're keeping things tough for Letran. They're challenging every single shot that they have.
Maunda right now, 11 seconds on the shot clock, and the referee spots a foul. This one will be a hold going up against Jason Nokom. That will be his first foul.
You know what I like about the JRU Heavy Bombers? No, they're a very scrappy team.
That's right.
They scrap for
Traditionally,
every
Rick,
possession.
they are scrappy. Traditionally,
Yes.
even go back to the days of guys like Ariel Capos, Hernani Pondolan, and Rendel De La Rea when they were winning, when they were making it to the Final Four all the time in the NCAA.
That's right.
Yun ang naging stilo na nitong JRU ever since that time. And even you go back to the time of sila Virgil Meneses, the time of sila Manny Victorino, they have always been that kind of a scrappy team.
That's right. But all the JRU, they've always had like one superstar and the rest are all role players built around that superstar. But yet they somehow manage to play as a team.
Well, Kakoko right now on the right side looking for the post-up play here. Sena going out, and that's a great jumper there coming from Jason Nokom. He needs to extend the defense. Now he's a big man, Nokom 6'4". If
That's
he
right.
can knock that down on a consistent basis, maganda yan para sa JRU. And again, the defense of JRU creating a turnover. This will be a loose ball foul, a push going here against Regine Ranises.
Yes, and it was Floyd Dedicatoria making that play. No? Again, for a big man, you gotta like his hustle and spunk. No easy baskets for Letran here.
Now pressure being shown here by the JRU Heavy Bombers, or by the Letran Knights, however, on the JRU Heavy Bombers. Inbounding will be Nokum, yes.
You can see Noel, no? This early, Letran is pressing. This is what they did to the University of Cebu. They pressed early, they got a lot of turnovers, and then they made a run.
Well, both are young teams right now, Rick. So tinignan natin ngayon kung sino mas may tibay sa dibdib.
Definitely. Both teams are mostly made up of sophomores and juniors, no?
Kakoko was challenged that time. We have a foul before the shot of Nokum. And this one will go against Brian Paundo. So we are still tied at 2 with 6 minutes and 36 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Once again, glad to have you with us. Noel Zarate alongside Rick Olivares and Mika Abisamis from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. This is the 2006 Collegiate Champions League. Battle for the rebound on that miss by JRU. Here's a fast break. Hasul in the front court. It's a 3-on-1. Hasul takes it himself. An Al Solis style layup, and he will be called for an offensive foul.
Dapat pinasa niya na yung bola, Noel. Libreng-libre na si Paundo doon. But what we are seeing right now is a very defensive game. No? But the change of the UST win.
Let's take a look at that once again. Ito yun, Rick, sinasabi ko, sana hinulog na lang niya.
Oo, dapat pinasa niya. Sayang.
Now JRU on the attack. Dedicatoria going over to Hayes. Looking inside. Nokum operating on the left side. Out to JR Sena. Sena with the ball away. That's short. Battle for the rebound. Here's Kurt Del Rosario. Still adjusting to life without Boyan Bautista. Let's see if Del Rosario can actually be that kind of a spark plug for the Knights. Hasul looking for a friend. Shot clock down to 8. Hasul takes it himself, drops it off to Reggie Ranises for 3. That was short.
They are having a tough time against the zone of JRU. Ganda, mahigpit. Talagang pati yung penetrations, no? Hirap na hirap sila.
And they cannot buy an outside shot. It adds to their wall. Sena with the layup. And JR Sena with his first 2 points of the game. JRU with the lead right now. Ranises one more time. This time it's shorter. Nokum clears for the Heavy Bombers.
In that last play, no, you saw a penetration by a player other than Mark Adoko. And it paid off because they're keying on Mark yung defense ng Letran.
Kurt Del Rosario, however, will be called for a foul there on that drive by Mark Kakoko. And here are the 2 key players now coming in for Coach Louis Alas. We have Balneg and Kinday. These are the 2 starters, or the 2 players who would like to have started for Letran. But of course, Coach Louis Alas trying to shuffle with his lineup. At makita natin, parehong skinhead pa ang pumasok dito.
Oo nga eh.
Parehong barberya yan, ha?
That's right, that's right. Si Kinday will give a lot of energy for Letran, no? He's very active off the boards and he likes to run, he likes to bang. A really exciting player to watch.
On over 3, still nothing. He's over 2 from there. Remember, that guy went 4 of 15 against USD. We're talking about Mark Akoko. And he could be off the mark right here. Pardon the pun. Paundo. Hasul right now. Balneg. Here's a slight opening. Jacks up to 3. Off the mark. Battle for the rebound. Still nobody clearing. And his last touch against Letran. JRU will have possession. And first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we have a timeout here. It is 4-2 in favor of the JRU Heavy Bombers. We have a low-scoring first quarter here as we take a look at the bird's eye view of the huddle of Coach Ariel Vanguardia. Now just breaking huddle. They are up. The Heavy Bombers are up 4-2 against the Letran Knights with 4 minutes and 39 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Noel Zarate still alongside Rick Olivares and Mika Abesamis coming to you from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. And this is the Elite 8 already of the 2006 Collegiate Champions League. As we take a look at the turnover story here, Letran 5, JRU 3. So JRU's defense telling the story early here in this first quarter.
That's right, Noel. No? During the break, I mentioned that the entry of Marvin Hayes has really created a lot of havoc for Letran. Not only has he clogged up the lane, but he has given the Heavy Bombers an active body to go after those loose balls and those boards.
We have a brief lull here in the action as our floor keepers, we'd like to call them the floor keepers, yung mga nagmamap ng sahig, keeping busy here, the humidity building up. It is raining outside, but of course here inside the Rizal Memorial Coliseum, it's raining three-pointers. Both teams attempting a lot of outside shots here, none really successful.
That's right.
So let's see if both teams can adjust their game plans. Nocom with the inbound.
I think Noel, no? Si Mark Garoko still has to draw iron. Nakadalawang airball na yata eh.
Well, he has one airball and 2 missed shots. And the Dedicatoria goes for the drive there. And finally, he will visit the free throw line. This will mark the first time that free throws will be attempted in this contest. And the Dedicatoria, as you mentioned earlier, Rick, finished second in the MVP balloting in the NCAA. And that surprised a lot of people.
Well, actually, while it may have surprised a lot of people, for me, having watched JRU for a while, you gotta like this guy, Parang, as I said, he's one of those active sorts who does a lot for his team. He scores, he rebounds, he blocks shots, he assists. It's just a matter of time. Maybe, again, this is a young team, and Floyd and Mark will really come up to the fore and really do wonders for this JRU team of Ariel Vanguardia.
I remember I covered him for the first time, I think about 2 years ago. He wasn't this tall. Three-pointer finally drops here for the Letran Knights. Mark Baltec connects.
That's right. Second deadlock ba natin to, Noel?
That would be deadlock number 2 of the game. You are right. And here's the Dedicatoria hang-time move. He hesitated in midair. We have another whistle here, stepping on the baseline here against the Knights. So bola pa rin ng JRU Heavy Bombers.
Mukhang yung defense ng Letran, they're keying on 2 players, Kakoko and Dedicatoria. Now the other players have to step up, like natong sila Nocom, sila Wilson.
All right, here the inbound finally makes it to the hands of Kakoko. Oh, he's fouled. That's a massive bump, an NFL type of a bump coming there from, I think that was John Realista. And John Realista will be called for his first personal foul.
Okay, this is a chance for Mark Kakoko to get on the board.
And our first look now at Ray Dangkal, who will check in at the point guard position, replacing Hasul, I believe.
That's right.
So Mark Kakoko, or Kagoko rather, 17 points in the win against UST. 4 of 15 from 3-point range. And we can see that Ariel Vanguardia sort of put a leash on him already. He hasn't really attempted. He's attempted 2 3-pointers, but they were good looks.
That's right. You remember earlier I mentioned something about Dedicatoria being like a Borboran type. Incidentally, di ba si Mark Borboran galing JRU?
That's right.
Imagine if they had those guys in this team right now.
That would have been a really strong team. And it's been a while since JRU has actually had a dominant big man.
That's right.
I would probably think the last time that JRU had some semblance of actually having a big man is a player called McDonald Santos, who played in the JRU Heavy Bombers about 3 years or 2 to 3 years ago.
That's right, that's right.
Guy's about 6'4", 6'5", but now the Dedicatoria is more of actually a hybrid center for this team. And we are also talking about itong si JR Sena, who's 6'3". So again, by tradition, they do have a 6'6" guy in Jeff Montemayor, but seldom used here. Balneg with a turnaround. That's short. Rebound picked up here by J.M. Wilson, announcing his presence with that one.
That's right. Wilson's back on the court, no? Nung pagpasok niya nung una, medyo wala. Pero hopefully ngayon, he's settled down and will get his game going.
Hayes going over to Dedicatoria. Floyd to the drive. And Floyd will go back to the free throw line. The foul here will go against Hafer Mondragon, also seeing his first action here. That is his first personal foul, and Letran has been over the limit for quite some time now. But that was a shooting foul, so Dedicatoria was 1 of 2 earlier. Revisits the stripe. Nice high arcing free throw from a 6'4" big man. Huh?
Narinig mo talaga yung swish sa net nila.
That's right.
Talagang bottom of the net. He's got a good stroke for a big man.
And misses on his second free throw. He's 2 out of 4 from there. And we have a loose ball foul now called against the Heavy Bombers. And this one will go against J.R. Sena. Pradas will re-enter the game now for the Heavy Bombers, replacing Kagoko. Now this will be interesting for Coach Ariel Vanguardia. They have gone to a very big lineup.
Yes.
Malamang si Hayes nang magpo-point guard dito, and Hayes is not small at 6'3".
Well, ang kagandahan sa lineup na to, no, they're really making life difficult. Those tall threes of JRU. Ang Letran so far, they've been trying to go in, but they've had a tough time finding the hoop.
Coach Ariel Vanguardia on your screens right now likes to play with combinations here. So with this big lineup, let's see if this will shock Louis Alas into thinking that he can outrun the Heavy Bombers. Overshooting that time. Etong si Hafer Mondragon. And we have another whistle here.
Ano yan, deliberate foul?
Let's see what the signal will be. Tignan natin yung senyas dito. The referees are still conferring right now. Sena will be the guilty party here.
Well, we can see Balnek moving to the free throw line, so the goals against JRU.
It is an intentional or an unsportsmanlike foul. As we're called here, yes, it is a... Sena will have to sit down, and Alvin sees his first action, 6'4" center for the JRU Heavy Bombers, and Realista. John Realista, also 6'4", going to the free throw line. 2 free throws plus ball possession. Buti na lang para dito sa koponan ng JRU. This is still in the early going. Had this been in the end game, this would have been massive.
That's right. Di ba nung last game, was it si Sena and si Duncilio nagkabanggaan?
That's right.
That was what set off yung disqualification between Dizon and Mel Gile. When they entered the court and they thought na nagkakagulo, wala naman talaga.
Louis Alas, not yet concerned because it's still here in the first quarter with 2:58 remaining. JRU is up 7-6. We will have a mid-court inbound. Yes.
Noel, this is exactly the type of game that Ariel Vanguardia wants his Heavy Bombers to play. Keep the scoring down low and play ugly ball, as you mentioned earlier, Noel.
Well, Hafer Mondragon, nothing ugly about that 15-footer. So it is now 8-7 in favor of Letran. This is their first lead. Itong koponan ng Letran. And as we predicted, Hayes does do the point guard honors. Along with J.M. Wilson in the backcourt. It's very, very tall lineup here for the Heavy Bombers. Pradas changing the play. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Pradas. Wilson looks at the shot clock. Wilson has to make his move. Passing off to Pradas. Mapuputokan ng 24. Itong koponan ng JRU Heavy Bombers.
It depends on the Letran. They're seeing that now they have no natural point guard on the floor. And they're really taking it to them, making life difficult for the ball carrier to distribute the ball to the big guys like Sila Dedicatoria, no?
But Ariel Vanguardia making no move to change this big lineup. Dangkal. They move the ball around right now. Itong koponan ng Letran. And that will be a foul away from the ball, and that will be an offensive foul. It's getting a little physical in the paint, Rick.
Well, when you play JRU, expect a physical game talaga. In fact, I think nung first game nila against USC, they caught them flat-footed with that physical game, no?
Well, let's see what Mika Abisamis has from the sidelines. Mika, what do you have?
Thank you, Noel. Coach Alas is disappointed with this low-scoring ball game. He told his boys to concentrate while shooting. He has boys like Brian Faundo, who is 6'5", and Realista, who is 6'4", and he expects them to do their job. Noel?
Thank you very much, Mika. And as we mentioned at the top of the coverage, Rick, yun din ang ine-echo na sentiments nitong si Coach Louis Alas. They need to score at least 70 points to beat JRU. At the rate things are going, with under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, that's not gonna happen.
Yes, they are playing into JRU's game. Turnover for Letran. Wilson, stop the pass. The first 2 points of the game.
And that's also his first attempt, Rick. So the lead goes back down to the JRU Heavy Bombers, 9-8. A minute and 41 remaining here in the first.
Itong si Wilson, mukhang kailangan mag-settle down talaga before he gets his game going.
Well, that's why they pull him off the bench. Para kung isipin mo kung starter pa yan, with all the energy that he brings to the court, baka mamaya mag-run and gun bigla itong JRU without them knowing it. Wilson going over to Hayes. Hayes wants the baseline. Hayes lost the ball, and it goes back to the Knights.
Pero maganda, no? Umiikot yung bola. Yun yung gusto ni Ariel Vanguardia, to get everyone into the game so that Letran cannot key on one or two people.
But again, how long can Ariel Vanguardia go without a natural point guard? Now, Louis Alas plays into his game, sending in some bigger players. Melegrito and Hasul. Hasul will re-enter the game. Melegrito seeing action for the first time. And for JRU, Echane comes in, replacing Floyd Dedicatoria. So both teams now going big. Hasul will take over as point guard here if he can get the ball off his inbounds.
Well, for JRU, it's only Wilson who's a starter on the floor right now.
And here's another steal. Wilson now a bigger point guard in the person of Pradas. Pradas jumps the pass out to Hayes. Hayes, the lefty, overshoots. Wilson with the recovery. Nice reverse layup coming from J.M. Wilson. And he took that. Yes, sa ilalim talaga. Lalim ng dukot ng Rick.
Yep, reverse niya.
Similar to Rick Olivares actually when he plays. Pellegrino looking inside, goes out. Hasul takes the shot. Hasul for three, off the mark. Battle for the rebound. Hayes and Mondragon battle for it. And Hayes, he was pushed out of bounds. And the foul will go against Andro Pinday.
Letran is playing JRU's game. They are taking a lot of shots from the outside. Meaning, hirap na hirap sila makapasok sa loob ng lane. Maganda yung zona. Talagang airtight defense, no? Every shot is challenged.
And there are two free throws coming up now for Marvin Hayes, as Letran has been in the penalty since early in this first quarter. So Hayes, the lefty, probably reminds you of a smaller version of Gabi Espinas.
That's right. Again, earlier, entry Marvin Hayes changed the complexion for JRU. All of a sudden, they became a lot more scrappy, a lot more hardworking and hard-nosed on defense.
Marvin Hayes, 6'3" forward for the Heavy Bombers. Second free throw, still not there. JRU having problems from the line. Battle for the loose ball. JRU keeps it. And finally, a whistle will be called. There will be a foul, and this will go against. Oh, it looks like the Heavy Bombers will be called.
Talagang no love lost between these two teams, huh?
We'll see who that foul went to, but right now we have 33.1 seconds remaining. Ariel Vanguardia getting his boys together right here at the middle of the court. There is no 20-second timeout in amateur basketball, and he sort of just made one up. Louis Alas is talking to his players. Pwede ba yun?
Cool pa rin si Louis.
Cool pa rin. Louis Alas, one of the most collected coaches in basketball right now. Oh, the foul went against Letran. That one went against Brian Paundo. That was his second personal foul. Hayes is 0 for 3 from the free throw line, Rick.
Huwag na natin batiin.
Maganda yung form niya for a shot. Finally, makes one. Yes. 1 out of 4.
Nabati.
Kasi napapansin natin yung forma niya sa free throw. Maganda naman. Release, maganda naman. Rotation, di lang pumapasok. Guevara seeing action for the first time. That is either a travel or a charge, and they call the latter.
Galing ng healthy defense ng JRU. You gotta like it. They're all helping one another. They've really played, Letran has really played into JRU's hands. And look at the way Coach Ariel Vanguardia shuffles his players. Fresh bodies on the floor at all times.
And he's already gone to the third stringers at this point. Entering the ballgame for the first time is JC Caspe. So let's review the lineup if we can here. We have Caspe is in there, Wilson is in there, and bringing down the ball right now is Penequito, also seeing his first action. And a steal almost, however, for the Knights. And another substitution. So now Louis Alas sending in Dino Da, and Mark Kagoko also comes back in. There could be a record of sorts for substitutions in a quarter right here.
That's right.
It feels like a hockey style na lang, Rick. Hayaan na lang natin sila pumasok, on the fly na lang ipasa. Mabilis eh.
Coach Ariel sees the need for the Ronco to come in and control the tempo. Saying opportunities daw nila eh.
Away from the ball, a double foul. will be called here. Again, it's getting physical this time on the Letran side of the paint.
If you recall, Noel, in their game against UST, the first and second quarters took a while to play because of all these foul and stoppages in time. And what we're seeing is a repeat of that game.
Well, with 6.5 seconds remaining, JRU up by 4 in a low-scoring contest. They want the last basket. Problems with the inbound. Say has it. 3 seconds remaining. And Chane for 3. Off the mark. Battle for the rebound. We will have a foul, and there could be free throws for JRU. That's exactly what will happen. This quarter is not yet over. Ray Guevara will be called for the foul. And Louis Alas is livid in the sidelines right now.
Oo, ubus na yung oras. May foul pa.
And yes, that foul will go against Ray Guevara.
Noel, how many three-pointers has JRU taken kaya?
We'll have to check on that one. But JRU has actually limited their three-point attempts here in the first quarter. Oh, the foul went against no. It can't be Wilson because he's shooting free throws. Oh, check that. It is Wilson.
It's Wilson pala.
Who is called for the foul. Oh, and we thought it was Guevara. We thought it was the other way around because Louis Alas was up in arms, and now the coaching staff of JRU is up in arms. Nathan De Gregorio talking to one of the officials right there as Guevara misses on his first free throw. Assistant coach Nathan Gregorio can't believe what's happening here. Now Ariel Baguardia has to approach one of the officials. And 2 free throws missed here with no time remaining. And we will sort things out when we return, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 12-8 at the end of the first 10 minutes of action in this Elite 8 matchup between JRU and Letran. We'll be back right here on Basketball. don't know who they're cheering for at this point. Are they Letran fans or are they JRU fans? Because right now we do have a ball game, folks, which was once an 18-point lead para dito sa koponan ng JRU Heavy Bombers in the second quarter has been reduced now to just 3 points by Letran. And Letran has woken from their slumber, 52-49. Noel Zarate still alongside Rick Olivares and Mika Abisami is coming to you from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum right here along Vito Cruz in Manila. This is Elite 8 action from the Philippine Collegiate Champions League right here on Basketball TV. Louis Alas has done a masterful job in adjusting to that coach. Ito si Ariel Vanguardia looking on right now, seeing his massive lead evaporate.
That's right, no? Earlier in the game, no, we were saying that JRU got Letran to play their game. And in doing so, Letran retaliated by taking out the three-point shot of JRU, which is a hallmark of their offense.
Well, a steal here once again for Letran. A three-pointer will tie this up. We've had 2 deadlocks in this game, at 2 and at 5. Dankal! No! Battle for the rebound. Hayes is there, but it's recovered here by Wilson. Here comes Sagoko. Sagoko jumps it inside. Dedicatoria with a spin. Dedicatoria. Top following! Dedicatoria!
What a great shot by Floyd Dedicatoria.
And
Pero
when-
talagang hirap siya sa shot na yun, ha?
That's right, Rick. And when the chips are down, JRU goes to their main man. And that's exactly what's happening right here. Dedicatoria now with a total of 9 points in this game. Hasul open for 3. In and out. That was close once again for JRU. Here's Mark Kagoko. Hayes asking for the ball on the left side. Kagoko moves to the right. Hayes finally gets it. Posting up. Ito si Sena. Hayes drops it off. Wilson, tough angle. Follow up. Still not there for JRU. And ito ngayon, Dankal. Over to Hasul. Time down to 5 minutes remaining in the Champions League season of one of these two teams. Right now, Hasul being watched now by Sena. There's a mismatch somewhere. Drops it off inside. And Paundo lost the ball. Substitutions now coming in. Kinday, Guevara checking back in. Nokom playing with 4 fouls. Tandaan po natin, ito si Nokom picked up his 4th foul in the third quarter.
Noel, it's been a defensive game so far for both, no? And in the last 2 possessions, both teams' defenses have prevented from the opponent from scoring. No quarter is given. Talagang full court press.
That's right.
They're forcing Floyd Dedicatoria to bring down the ball.
Right now it is Kagoko being pressured here by Dankal, who's been his arch nemesis in this game. Daig pang anino ang pagbantay nitong si Dankal dito kay Kagoko. And Nokom forcing one up and was able to elicit a foul. This one will go against Brian Faundo. And Faundo will also be warned. This will actually be his 5th foul. So if Faundo is called with a technical foul right here, let's see what the referee decides. Okay, Faundo will just foul out of this game.
Yes, and John Foronda takes his place on the floor. Foronda has given the Knights some quality minutes.
But now Louis Alas has to talk about things with a new strategy as his big man has now fouled out. It is 54-49. JRU still up by 5. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The JRU Heavy Bombers embattled right now, but they are doing all the right moves, especially from this, their main man. Ito pong si Floyd Dedicatoria hitting that turnaround, fall away. Everything in between was in that also. But itong si Jason Nokom misses his first free throw. JRU still up, but only by 5, 54-49. Noel Zarate still alongside Rick Olivares. And Mika Abisami is coming to you from the Rizal Memorial Coliseum.
Well, he has to make the shot, no? Because Letran is just really creeping up close. If they want to stave off the pressure, they have to make sure that every possession they convert.
Azul comes back in, replacing itong si Dankal. So 55-49, 4:23 remaining here in the 4th and final quarter. Ray Guevara sees an open, and Guevara all the way for the layup. plus the foul. And all of a sudden, the defense that has been a friend to JRU for the whole of the first half is disappearing here in the second half, Rick.
That's right. No, Guevara saw the lane wide open for him and he took it. I guess it's one of the easiest shots next to yung layup kanina ni Kinday, no? Talagang yung depensa ng JRU bumigay doon.
Well, now Guevara with a chance to cut this down to a single possession game with this free throw. He misses on that free throw. Rebound picked up by J.M. Wilson.
How many free throws has Letran missed, no?
Well,
that was a big one.
Letran and JRU have actually been on the same boat in terms of free throws. So they're sort of canceling each other out in that category. But again, free throws will come into play in the end game, especially ngayon. Close na itong game na to. Jumper from the baseline. That is a three-pointer there
By Casper.
Yes, coming from Caspe.
That was a big shot.
And of course,
And Dedicatoria steals the ball.
And Dedicatoria with the left hand, a little bit out of control that time. Could have waited for his teammates. Here's Ray Guevara. Guevara trying to elude J.M. Wilson. Azul, like the veteran he is, stops back. Kinday right now, not trying to force anything. Inside to Guevara, nice head and shoulder fake. Guevara off the glass, rebound picked up here by Nokom. And now JRU with a chance to extend this 7-point lead.
That's right. And if you look at the coaching staff of JRU, they are telling them to take care of the ball and use as much time as they can from the shot clock.
There's Kagoko running out of space.
And just when Ariel Vanguardia was telling his troops to take care of the ball, they lose it to a turnover without even taking a shot at the basket. Well,
I couldn't even see because Coach Justo Pinat is right here in front of us also jumping around. Ariel Vanguardia there on the sidelines. And of course, Nathan Gregorio. That completes the coaching staff nitong Kupunan and JRU Heavy Bombers. And Ariel Vanguardia screaming at the top of his voice right now for some kind of a defensive ploy. And nobody home! Wow! And Guevara has to earn it from the line, and Hayes is upset right now. Somebody missed an assignment big time there, Rick.
that's right. At least Letran has to earn it from the stripe, no? But nevertheless, that was a breakdown in defense.
And it was just the speed of Hayes right there. He was that close to being called for an unsportsmanlike foul because he hardly went for the ball, but it was just his speed that prevented that easy layup from Ray Guevara. And Guevara has been starting to struggle from the free throw line.
Okay, we have Guevara at the stripe. 3:03 left in the game. Guevara missed his first shot, and now he's going for his last. He makes it, and the lead of JRU is down to 6:58 to 52 with 3:01 left.
Well, Guevara now with a total of 13 points in this game. Here's Caspe. Mark Kagoko setting things up. 2 minutes and 46 remaining in someone's season. Dedicatoria, 4-3. That's short. Battle for the rebound. Nokom taps it to the wrong guy. Guevara with yet another rebound, and he's fouled in the backcourt here by Caspe. JRU not yet in the penalty. That is just their fourth. That will be 2 fouls now.
And Coach Ariel Vanguardia sends back J.M. Wilson into the fray, sending out Caspe.
J.M. Wilson has been quiet, but he has been efficient para din sa koponan ng JRU. And it's one of the reasons why they still have this lead. He and Floyd Dedicatoria have been coming up brilliantly of late. Here's Kinday right now. Left quarter court action. Kinday with a drive. Kinday lost the ball. And there is a foul called. Let's see if this is against Wilson or Hayes. This one is against Wilson.
Number 8, J. Wilson. It's his fourth personal.
And Wilson's called for his fourth.
That's right.
Warning number 8, J. Wilson for overt action resentment to call.
Warning on Wilson. And yes, he is called for his fourth. He's claiming that he only got his third foul. But that is his fourth personal foul.
Does this send Kinday to the stripe?
Apparently it does. It looked like it was a shooting foul.
Shooting 2, Miko Kinday.
No, actually now JRU is above the limit. Only 3 team fouls for Letran. So talk about change of heart, change of situations here.
Right.
Kinday is still blank from the free throw line, Rick.
Yes, he's 0 for 3 so far, no? But although he has 1 field goal, talagang he's been bleeding for his points. Hirap na hirap, no? Last time around against University